And if you haven't picked up your copy of one of my books, this is Mr. America's Shape Up series, and this is Physique 101. These are two of my books that I've written, documenting in Mr. America's Shape Up series, how I got from out of shape to in shape, all within a matter of a year, and every detail along the way. And then Physique 101 is a great resource, covers everything with routines, diet, and also shows the reasons why and behind the things that I do. You can get these books on my website, MrAmericaHeart.com, as a simple download, or you can go to Amazon and get yourself a hard copy like these. Thank you very much. Hi, John Hart here with Mr. America Heart. Thanks for coming on back. Listen, in my community section for my YouTube channel, I posed the question, is there any videos that you guys would like to see? I'm treating that like it's my mailbag. So if you have a request on any videos, if you have any specific questions, I'll give you an honest answer on whether or not I'm going to do it. And one of the questions that was posed to me was from Pablo9364. Pablo, you asked the question about what was or how can we go at the end of a diet cycle? How can we go out of it? How can we go into maintenance phase? How can we go and just, I read a little further than what you asked. Basically, how to avoid blowing all the progress that you made at that point. And I'm going to give you an answer. I'm sitting here with a book, and this is a book that I wrote called Physique 101. I wrote it just a few years ago. And, the interesting thing about writing books is that when time passes, you can look back at what you wrote and you realize some of your ideas, some of your opinion may have changed, some of your education from gaining an education in school or classes or just empirically in the gym with yourself or with clients, it may have changed. But there's a really relevant paragraph that I want to read to you out of this book, and it's on page 87, and it's concerning reversing the eating plan and the cardio. When you talk about getting to the point where you've been dieting, you've been burning body fat, and you get to the end of a cycle. What is the end of a cycle? It's when you've exhausted all the possibilities, you've burned as much body fat as you can, you're at the point where mentally you've just had enough. Your body is hardly responding anymore. You're doing everything you can to push it for every ounce of body fat loss possible, and it's just impossible at that point, seemingly impossible, to squeeze out more. If you're at that point, this paragraph on page 87 reads, reversing the eating plan and cardio. This is what I recommend. I still agree with it today, just a few years later. It's exactly what I would recommend. The end of a fat loss season means that we've maximized the amount of fat burned off and muscle gained. The body has had enough, regardless of whether there is still fat to be burned off. That's key. Regardless, even if you have more fat to burn off, the fact of the matter is your season has ended. Your body will only give up so much before you go any further. You're just going to be chewing up lean muscle mass. We don't want to do that. We want to have it be mainly body fat, right? So the way to do it is think long term. While you may want more fat to come off of your body, the fact is it will only cooperate for a season. Once that season is done, you're going to have to do something, and you're going to have a long-range plan in that something so that you can come back, attack it again, and get it to cooperate in a new season. So here it is. Again, the body has had enough regardless of whether there is still fat to be burned off. It becomes very important to reverse the entire process temporarily and gear up for another run at a later date. Reversing the eating plan is simple. I have my clients do the exact opposite calorically of what they did to drop the fat in the first place. Numerically, the increases are similar or the same as the original decreases, except for the original, I have them drop quite a few calories in the beginning, so I don't make any big jumps going in reverse. I don't do the original big calorie drop in reverse. So it's small increases. We only go up in 100 to 200 calorie increases. This is mainly with natural folks, okay? If you're not natural, if you're using gear, fact is you can actually go up a little bit further than that, maybe 300-400 calories at a jump. So I go 100 to 200 calorie increases, and watch the scale and the waist measurement closely to be sure fat is not coming on in a big measurable way. The calories are increased once every 1 to 2 weeks until the original starting number is reached, which in a hypothetical 2,000 calorie daily caloric average diet, that would mean bringing it back up to 2,000. Doesn't matter what your starting number was. It was 3,000, bring it back up to 3,000. And then, here's the key thing too. You will have been doing cardio along the way, no doubt. The cardio is also reversed by having the client decrease cardio. I do this for myself as well, by 10 to 15 minutes per session every week. If the client had been up to 75 minutes of cardio per day, this means it'll take them 6 to 8 weeks to taper down to the point where they can stop doing cardio until the beginning of the next fat loss cycle. Doesn't that sound good, by the way? Tapering down on the cardio to where you're doing no cardio at all until the next fat loss cycle hits, and then you can ramp it back up again. So that's my answer, Pablo 9364. That's my answer. This is the video you asked for. How do you end a diet cycle, and how do you go into a maintenance off-season, or let's say minimize the damage going into an off-season or a down cycle where you're not dieting hard any longer and you're not doing a whole bunch of cardio? That's exactly how I would do it. If you're liking these videos, please, down below on your bottom right-hand side, you see that red subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that button. Helps out a lot with the channel. And then on your left, give it a thumbs up. Again, helps out a lot. That's it for today. From my heart to you, John Hart. Thanks for stopping by.
Hey, do you want John to be your personal trainer? Get your training and diet managed online by Mr. America himself. Go to MrAmericaHeart.com. It's in the link right here below in the video's description.